Hello and welcome. My name is Marius. I'm here with my colleague Harrison. Today we're going to talk about waterborne coatings applications, more specifically in the area of viscosity loss prevention. Let's jump right into it. Harrison, why don't you go ahead and tell our viewers some of the challenges that these applications face?
All right, thanks Marius. Yes, so today it's viscosity loss prevention. In the coatings industry, we have these untinted waterborne coatings, and very often when they're tinted with the universal colorant or tint paste, the viscosity drops.
And why is there a decrease in viscosity when tinting?
So this is mainly to do with the formulation itself, the rheology modifier present in these untinted waterborne coatings is usually an associative thickener. And in an untinted waterborne coating, these provide good low shear viscosity, so good sag resistance and good in-can stability, so you can get syneresis, and you can get good brush loading as well, so good for the end user. But when you tint these untinted waterborne coatings, the associative thickener is disrupted, so this thickening effect is reduced because it doesn't have the same. It doesn't really interact with the components of the waterborne coating as well anymore. And so the end use properties are reduced, so you get worse sag resistance, more syneresis for example, or poor brush loading.
And how can MFC be used to reduce this problem?
Yeah, so I think the best way is probably to show an example of this. So here we have two shear curves, one with an untinted waterborne coating on the left and one with a tinted waterborne coating on the right. You see with the untinted one, it has quite a high viscosity at low shear, and as you increase the shear rate, the viscosity drops, and that's the shear thinning, so that's improving flow properties. This is normal. But when you tint with a universal colorant, you can see the viscosity drops dramatically, especially at low shear. And this is again due to the disruption of the network with the universal colorant and the associative thickener. But with Exilva, if you look at both the untinted and the tinted, the curves are pretty much identical. So at the low shear end, you get this much better viscosity rise compared to the associative thickener, and as you increase the shear, you have much superior shear thinning properties. And that improves the flow, and things like spraying can become a lot more easier. And this is again repeated with the tinted coating.
And how or why is this thickening effect maintained when MFC and tinting?
Yeah, so I think with the MFC, what we see is a much higher interaction of this 3D network of the fibrils. And this unique network has physical and chemical interactions with the components, such as hydrogen bonding. And this allows the higher viscosity we see. So this gives a much better thickening effect, and when you have this extra dispersant added from universal colorant, it's not affected negatively at all. So things like sag resistance are maintained.
And if we're talking final product here, what effect is this going to have on the final tinted coating?
Yeah, so for the end user, things you want when you want, say, painting ore, you want good sag resistance. It's not going to drip off the surface. You want add less coats onto the wall, for example. So you want thicker brush loading, and you could possibly get that, and also in-can stability. So stability over time. You're not going to get a nasty water layer when you open the can after 3 or 4 months, so it's going to be quite stable. And you can also spray if you want, because it's very shear thinning.
Yeah.
So that also adds added benefits there.
To summarize or to end things here, is this going to affect sagging more or leveling properties more in the coating?
Yeah, that's a good question, because they're two different properties. Sagging, you don't want any flow really, right. Especially because you get drippage, you don't want that. Leveling is the opposite, you want some flow so it goes over the surface quite nicely. And what we found is that you can get a synergistic effect with Exilva, so you get the sagging but you also get the leveling. So that's really nice to see, and we have lots of publications on that and blog posts. So if you want to find out more, you can always go to the blog for that.
Thanks a lot for watching, guys. As Harrison mentioned, you can find this on our blog. Make sure that you subscribe to our blog and that you also follow us on our social media for more content. Stay tuned.